multiple choice on that last statistics test was so hard. I got practically everything wrong.
I know, right? I was talking to my math tutor about it, and he was telling me how some people apparently take the test backwards and it helps them get better results.
Really? Maybe we should do that and see if there's actually a significant difference.
Speaking of significance, why don't we try a 2-sample t-test?
Yeah, and then maybe that's a great idea, and then we can do a confidence interval and see if 0 is in that interval and double check our work.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah!
For our extremely convenient population of Ghana High School students, we were able to create a sample of 38 participants to take our experiment. And our specific question for this project was whether or not taking a test forwards or backwards can affect your results.
There are many teachers, parents, and test-taking strategists that say taking the test backwards is an effective strategy when it comes to test taking. That being said, our null hypothesis would be that there is no difference in the results. The average time of taking the test forwards is the same as the average time of taking the test backwards. Whereas the alternative hypothesis would be the opposite, that the time results differ from each other.
Okay, so as far as it's concerned, the specifics of our experiment, we had 38 subjects, 17 of them who took the test backwards and 21 of them who took the test forwards.
The subjects were randomly assigned whether or not they take the test forwards or backwards based on a coin flip.
And we tried to keep the environment the same for each subject using the study rooms, as you can see here, and the library, so that we conduct each test. And we also used the exact same test for each subject, no matter which direction they had to take the test.
So here's the simulation of our experiment.
You just have to sit right here.
Oh, first off, I want to thank you for participating in our survey, in our experiment, Before we get started, I'm going to flip a coin. The results of the coin will tell you whether you take the test from forwards, so starting in the top left corner going across, or backwards, starting in the bottom right corner going back this way. Alright? Alright, that's a heads. So you're going to start right here and take the test. Let me get out my timer, and you can go whenever you're ready.
Our tests were taken in the library study rooms during lunch, brunch, perhaps or even after school to maintain the consistency of each test result.
However, there are some possible confounding variables, including the nerve levels of the students and the math levels that they are taking, and when's the last time they actually did a math problem. And when the timer was in the room, it might have made the subject more worried.
Some of the people who were taking our tests wanted to have a better time, so they sped through the test and ended up making a lot of careless mistakes. We compensated for those mistakes by adding 2 seconds per wrong answer. Now we will talk about how we did our significance testing. And so we started off with our hypothesis, with HO being that the averages of taking the test forwards and backwards is the same, and our HA was that the two averages were different. For our conditions, we SRS by flipping a coin and then decided the direction in which the student took the test, forwards or backwards. And for independence, we're assuming that there are more than 210 students that could take the test forwards and then more than 170 that can take it backwards. And then for normality, we added the two values, 17 and 21, together to find that it is greater than 30, so central limit theorem is fulfilled.
So looking at our results, we wanted to ensure that we were right with our first conclusion, so we did a 95% confidence interval, and we were also very curious to find the interval of time that an average student would take to answer the test that had 60 simple questions of mathematics. So we did a 2-sample t-interval, and the conditions were the same as for the previous test, significance test that we did before. In our data, we found we were 95% confident that the true main difference between the average time a student takes to take a test forwards and the average time a student takes to take the test backwards will be between negative 30.71 and 19.845 seconds.
Since 0 is included in that interval, we can conclude that there is no significant difference between the test time scores between going forwards and going backwards.
Even though we initially set the time math test will be given solely in these study rooms, a combination of not being able to reserve the room and lack of time, well, towards the end we just gave the test whenever we could find the people. Ooh.
Taking the test forwards and taking the test backwards.
Yeah, now we actually have to study or go to Mr. Ramani during tutorial, or we can cheat.
Yeah.